or decreases?
Yeah, with the banks, they are very compliant, and they're very compliant. They are very helpful, because even when I took over, and then sold to the B.C.C management.
Yes.
That we also needed to.
Yes.
We also needed to reform our partial cost recovery, which is the Malik section. At least try to get an acting unit manager.
Yes.
And then also all businesses also to partake in the collection of garbage within Banjul.
Right.
Before 2020, before I went there,
yes,
the banks were paying 7,000 per annum for collection of garbage.
Right.
But we approached them in a letter to say that with our situation and with waste management being an interesting topic in Banjul and by far the Gambia, we like banks to pay more. In the end, banks comply and they are paying 100,000. Each bank now is paying 100,000 to B.C.C for the partial cost recovery.
So we have communications. It says.
You talked about bulk cash.
Yes, bulk cash. Yes.
Yes, and you're talking about this issue of chaos.
Yes.
But do you realize that some of these banks in their bulk cash they have more than one cashier? In an event, you walk into the bank and you're doing your inspection or you're doing your assessment.
Yes.
And you go to bulk cash and you realize that there are always more than two cashiers. What do you do in that instance?
Yes, we just...
My understanding of what you said earlier is that if they have 5 tellers, that is the cubicles, you tell them it's not 5, but 6.
Yes.
Because you've included one...
Yeah, bulk cash, yes. Yes.
But do you agree that there are banks that have more than one cashier in the bulk cash?
Yes, there could even be 4 cashiers, but the bulk cash section...
Yes.
You
treat it as one?
Yes, we treat it as one. Yes.
Yes, I wanted that clarification.
Yes, okay, thank you, ma'am.
Patrick, you may continue.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. Communications. It says companies, the fixed line operators. What does that mean?
Fixed line operators is only one. We only have one in the Gambia, which is Gamtel. Which is the line that you're carrying. That's fixed line. You cannot move with it.
And so they pay $1 million?
Yes.
So you have the communication companies, GSM network operators, wireless station?
Thank you. GSM, Africell, QCell, Comium.
They have, how about the satellite station?
Yes. Because again, we are constrained. Because when these GSM companies mount their satellites, they don't inform council, or very few of them will tell you that I have disclosure, the disclosure element to say that these are my components, charge me. Businessmen will never do that. So it's up to us to go around town.
Yes.
But for me, if I spot anything, I send them, I say, no, there's something new. There's something new somewhere in Avdai. Go and check it. And
you can go and verify and inspect.
Yeah, exactly.
And then make your of course your verification.
Yes.
To know exactly how much, and it should be periodic verification, because they may companies they improve.
Yeah, it
grows.
It grows. But what is happening? What is happening? I think our oversight big brothers like the Public Service Commission and the Ministry. It is to them that Camara has spent 5 years at B.C.C. He needs to go to Kuntawuru. But you stay in the position as Director of Finance 20 years and you build your cabal. The CEO stays there, Director of Finance stays there, the Director of Planning stays there, and in the end,
they were uncomfortable.
It's a problem. So move people either horizontally or vertically. But people cannot stay and build empires, and they become more powerful than the formal institution. And that's what is happening in councils. And again, all these businesses, they hire savvy people. Like if you go to Jar Oil, you hire chartered accountants, hire good people, and they do a good job for you. But with councils, you cannot even go and confront Mohammed Jar and tell him, Jar, you have an art station here, you have a satellite mounted here, you have this, you have an addition this here.
Mr. Camara, it's not like they can't go and confront. They do. If there's anything that we know how to do, is to make an attempt to collect our debts.
Yes.
If there's anything in addition to that, what we can do is to negotiate and think about our pockets as well.
Yes, but if
So
you have,
it's not by chance.
yeah, but if you have a CEO that definitely cares about the institution,
They care. They care about their pockets.
just look at it. Trade license. The last 3 are relegated, like the premiership. The last 3 are relegated. You know that if I perform the last 3, I'm going to the market $10 a ticket. So you will redouble of your effort. But again, you have Mustafa AB car. You don't do anything. You don't collect. You come, I take you to market. Mayor tell you, stay here, and then you are for Mustafa AB car to be an election candidate to go against
My problem with
somebody that you want that seat. So at the end of the day, where do we fall? Where is CEO in all this?
My problem with you for this part of revenue collection is that you don't seem to understand how it is run. You think probably that people don't do what they have to do because of incapacity. That is true. That is a fact. It's not the primary reason. The primary reason is, you see, even the person that do not have a degree, they understand that they have to collect $1 million from X. And they know X company understands that they have to pay $1 million. Like you said, they have the right people in these offices.
Yes.
They employ the right professionals
Yes.
who will tell them how much is to be paid for XYZ taxes.
Exactly.
But they know how to evade. And that is the difference.
Yes.
And that is what you don't seem to understand a bit.
I do.
They know, seriously, because they know how to evade. So if Momodou is paying $500,000, so let me just say QCell, to be fair to Momodou. If QCell is paying $500,000 for so many years, because it's a limited liability company, that's why I'm saying QCell, it's because the person to collect is invoicing them $500,000.
Yes.
And maybe somewhere, if you might subtract that from 1.2 million, how much do you have? $700,000. So if you save the company $300,000 or $400,000, they give you $300 or thereabout. That's a good deal.
Yes.
It's a win-win situation.
I concur.
Yeah. So
I concur.
what suffers is the people of Banjul City Council and the Gambia at large. So you have satellite stations, you have commercial radio stations, and the list goes on. And so for you look at all these components, so you look at the institution and where they fall, and you tabulate that, and then you have exactly how much you're going to invoice.
Exactly. And then, we wanted to, in 2024, we wanted to perfect it. For me, I wanted to leave that legacy, that let's get it right and move on. Let me just conclude on the issue of the invoice. We have a lot of food for the sample of the invoice that you have shown the commission. Lot of food. Where do they fall? Do I give you this, or would you want it on your laptop to see? Yes. Where do they fall? Which component? Lot of food will fall under general trader.
General trader.
Yes, and then it's attaching subsections of where do they have big.
Large scale.
Yes, the large scale.
But we see a lot of food being invoiced $25,000.
Thank you very much. There you go.
Here it says large scale is $100,000. Medium scale, $60,000.
100,000 they should pay a lot of food.
No, but let's even go by the minimum to be on the safe side.
No.
Large scale says $100,000. It's a business with goods valued at $5 million. Medium scale for between 3.5 to 5 million, $60,000. And for small scale, businesses below 3.5 million is $35,000. They have an invoice for $25,000.
It's wrong.
Below the bare minimum.
It's wrong.
And it's not wrong. It's illegal.
Yes, illegal.
Unlawful.
Yes.
And corrupt practices. To say it's wrong would assume it probably may be and honesty. So in this business, we use words like illegal, unlawful, corruption, fraudulent. These are the words we use. Conversion. Yes.
Okay.
So that's the thing. So you go to same with.
Sorry, let me just ask you, Mr. Camara.
Yes, ma.
The assessment.
Yes.
For the assessment to be honestly done, how do you arrive at estimating a particular business as being, for instance, a business of 5 million or 4 million? Because based on the evidence we have received over
the period.
We are told by some witnesses that they go to the premises and they look at the shop and make assessment. Now, my question is, would that not be a subjective assessment of that business entity?
Highly subjective.
Sorry?
It's very subjective, highly subjective. So
didn't you think of a way of making sure that at least you have an understanding based on data or record as to the probable, the most likely exact quantum of business that this person has in monetary?
Yes. Yeah, yes. I think the drafters, the legal draftsmen that drafted these beautiful instruments are pinning it on turnover.
Yes.
Turnover is sales.
Yes.
You go to a business, tell him, Emeka and Co. By next week, I am the trade license manager of Banjul City Council. By next week, I would like to look at your bank statement or your bank statements to be able to know what's your turnover. And Emeka could tell you that disclosure. Some people are very honest. They tell you, I'm a big business. 100,000 I'll pay. So you the one invoicing, you need to be up for the task to know what do you ask to get information. The information we have to derive from them. Can I see your bank statements? Because you are mandated by law to go after businesses and invoice them. If they are hiding their profit and loss account, income and expenditure, the bank statements will say it. But I don't think businessmen, they don't have time. They will not go there with you. So what I will do, I sit in the office, I don't go in the field, but I'll call them sometimes. I say, invoice them by default, put everything 100,000. All this textile, put everything 100,000. What I don't know is, go and follow how many warehouses and stores they have. They say, boss, but they're going to, I say, no, put it there. If they are genuine, they'll not come back. And if they are not genuine, tell them to come to the Director of Finance. But they never turn up. What they do is to pay. So put them at the ceiling and look at the east.
Council, you may proceed.
Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Camara, even though I wouldn't agree with that approach, I think when institutions fail, they fail. They fail for what they prioritize, individuals' interests, but then the businesses too. We have to encourage the businesses. We have to encourage investment. So sometimes you realize you overtax these people because of you're trying to solve a problem, genuine problem, and so it may end up frustrating some businesses as well. So the right thing to do is to have a proper approach to understanding and evaluating these businesses. There should be a way to really assess the value of each business, because they will be registered.
That's
and
true.
They have to follow the number process, so you know each value, and the value has to be yearly. The revenue assessment should be yearly.
Yes.
But council don't engage in revenue. I ask this question all the time. Proper revenue assessment.
Yes.
Because you have to value every business at least once every year. Because a business that is valued at 1.5 million or 3 million may be valued at 20 million the following year, or less than 5 million or 3 million the subsequent year. It depends. They grow and then.
Council, I couldn't agree more what you have said. Yeah. But again, businessmen will never stop crying, even if they are swimming in it. They will still want to save money. So at the end of the day,
that's why you value the
job.
business.
Yes.
That's why you value you have the correct.
Yes.
Like the tailoring shops, the chairperson resident the other day, the number of machines they have, the type of machines they have. If you don't value them, how would you know? You would not know. You may even, in fact, be charging less than what you're supposed to. That's number one. Number two, you open the floodgates for the revenue collectors and the managers to be going and negotiating with these individuals. You know you're supposed to pay this amount of money, but just give me this amount, I'll give you this exact. So if you look at the invoice alone, even where it appears to be a legitimate one, it may correspond to a normal invoice for, let's say, a 2 machine for Brode when they have 10 machines for Brode. And no one goes to check.
Yeah, I think as Director of Finance, we just needed to start and we perfect the system as we go, because we need to learn on the system. But this one was sine qua non if you are serious with revenue.
Yes.
Yes.
So, okay, that's honestly I have questions for the license. We will go to the other issues. Mr. Camara, the Moroccan fund we were talking about?
Yes, the Moroccan fund, we know, if you look at I have said it and I'm going to say it again, the Finance and Audit Act of Local Government Councils say all projects of council, all projects should come to council.
Yes.
If you are able to negotiate a project in your capacity as a lead council, if you were not,
I am not going to negotiate a project.
if you were not a lead council, you would not have been able to.
I will always be a council.
Lay hands on those businesses. So
yes.
We know the Moroccan fund is in B.C.C, but there is nothing, whether with files or communication or.
What is this Moroccan fund first to start with?
Moroccan fund, that's all I know, and then I will rely on General Council meetings minutes.
Yes.
That's been supplied by the Lord Mayor, and that's where I know there is a Moroccan fund. And then I also heard in the corridors that they are doing some renovation at the Albert Market.
Let me read what you wrote,
yes.
and then we can take it up from there.
Yes.
In your statement, it reads, regarding council's funds being expended on renovation of the Albert Market, apart from normal maintenance as per our budget allocation, I am not aware. However, there is a Moroccan fund that is doing some structural works at the Albert Market, and there is a limited financial and operational data as far as my position is concerned. I know there are funds and funding from the Moroccan fund, and interestingly, it is not under the supervision of the Finance Directorate, and its activities should have been treated like any project under council, but it is not. The CEO and the mayor should be in a better position to explain the nature, amount, and conditions of the fund. So there is some financing in relation to the structural works at the Albert Market.
That's true.
Okay.
And
this is not brought to the
council
level of council, or to, let me say, to the notice of the Director of Finance, who has primary custody together with the CEO of the accounts of council.
That's right.
Good.
And so, I will supply here General Council meeting minutes mentioning the Moroccan fund.
Let me see. We apply to tender minutes of meetings of the General Council. The date is 11th of July 2023. With the agenda, visit of the Mayor of Miami, USA, visit of the Mayor of Morocco, state of affairs of Banjul, in bracket, raining season. These minutes were signed by Mr. Babakar Nyang, Admin Assistant, and Aji Rohi Malik Lo, Lord Mayor, to be admitted into evidence and marked as an exhibit.
General Council meeting minutes dated 11th of July 2023. The said minutes are signed by Babu Karnyang and Ajirohi Malik Law. It is copied to the Lord Mayor, Chief Executive Officer, Director of Admin, Director of Finance, Director of Planning and Development, Director of Internal Audit, and a file copy is maintained. Also attached to the minutes dated the 11th of July 2023, it's another General Council meeting minutes dated the 19th of July 2023. And these minutes are also signed by Mr. Babu Karnyang, as Admin Assistant, and Aji Rohim Malik Law, Lord Mayor. It is copied to the Lord Mayor, CEO, Director of Admin, Director of Finance, Director of Planning and Development, Director of Internal Audit, and a file copy is maintained. These documents are admitted in evidence as exhibit, and they are marked as LGC/BCC/MC in bracket 1/019.
As a commercial, please. Yes, so this Morocan fund you know nothing about? Yes. Commissioner Settler.
Mr. Camara, when we say the mayor of Morocco, what does it mean? It's just saying that the mayor of the Gambia doesn't have a mayor. So is he Moroccan mayor from Fas or from Casablanca or somewhere?
Yeah, it still come back to the presentation long problem that we've been lamenting in councils. Lack of capacity. When people write, they need to write what is correct and clear.
Yeah, but did you venture to ask them which city in Morocco is the mayor coming from?
Yeah, as Director of Finance, sometimes when I came in council at newly in 2021, we were invited to General Council meetings, and after 3 months, it was stopped, and then that is. In B.C.C, they have a way to manage information, contain information.
Okay, in short, you don't know which city in Morocco the
I don't know anything.
From.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Any other? Mr. Camara, so you've had funds were received from this Moroccan fund?
Yep.
And you don't know how it was managed?
No.
Okay. The CEO will be in a good position to answer
Yeah,
the question.
exactly.
And yes, you are right. It is stated in the minutes of the meeting, the exhibit marked as LGC BCC/MC in the bracket 1/019 for the date 11th of July 2023. Now, lawyers, legal fees. You have had council legal representation?
Yes.
When you came in, who was your lawyer?
Usus Chambers, Sasum Silla.
Is there any other lawyer that the council have worked with in this period that you were there as Director of Finance?
Yes. What happened was Sasum is found to be our legal retainer, but when there are legal suits or council is sued or council sued, there are always some other lawyers that are hired.
Why? You already have a retainer with Sasum Silla of
Yes.
council. So why would other lawyers be hired?
The CEO should explain that. I'm not in a position to.
Do you know the process?
No.
Who pays these lawyers? You pay them?
Yes, we do.
How do you pay them? What would you rely on to pay them, documentation-wise?
Documentation-wise, they will send an invoice, or they will send whatever document that will ask for and outline the job that they have done for Banjul City Council
But they must have had
to the CEO, and the CEO will need
authorized payment.
to pay.
But before that, there has to be what would trigger their contracts, because there is a procedure to hire lawyers.
Yes.
You understand that? So you have a retainer already, even though you were not in a position to, you will not be in a position to discuss how the retainership came about, because you were not in council at that time, correct?
Yes, that's true.
Yes, but this we will ask Mr. Bachili. But that person now should be the outside counsel, the retained counsel, to do all these works. So if there are other lawyers to be hired, they should also probably fall within the same procurement process. Assuming Ms. Silla was services were procured in accordance with the Procurement Act and regulations. So do you not ask how the council came about contracting those individuals?
Yeah, if you ask, it could mean or send a signal that is insubordination, or you are not minding your business, or this.
That will be in line with your job.
Yes. Yeah, for me, I don't enter into
the financial manual requires that payments to be authorized must follow due process.
Yes, that's true.
And it also stressed that all payments must follow the Procurement Act and regulations strictly. You use the words.
I concur. But again, I think if anybody is hired as a CEO, all of us, you are the fountain that we should drink from in knowledge and exposure and all that. When it comes to finance, I'll advise you.
Yes.
But when it comes to administration and hiring lawyers and all that,
how many lawyers did you know whose services were hired during the period you were there?
In my time, I think we've apart from SASUM, we've only dealt with Dandemayo Chambers.
Dandemayo Chambers.
Yes.
In your time, that is what you can remember.
Yes, that's what I can remember. Yes.
Okay. Right.